from the book of the prophet Daniel. In those days, there lived in Babylon a man named Joachim, who had married a woman named Susanna, the daughter of Hilkiah, of rare beauty and God-fearing. Her parents, who were righteous, had brought up their daughter according to the law of Moses. Joachim was very wealthy and owned a garden near his house, and because he was esteemed above all others, the Jews would come to him. In that year, 2 elders were appointed judges of the people. They were among those of whom the Lord had said, "Wickedness has come forth from Babylon by means of elders and judges, who only appear to be guiding the people." These elders frequented Joachim's house, and all who had any disputes came to them for judgment. When the people went away around noon, Susanna would go for a walk in her husband's garden. The 2 elders, who saw her going for a walk every day, were consumed with passion for her. They lost their sense of reason, turned their eyes away so as not to look to heaven and remember righteous judgments. As they waited for the opportune moment, Susanna entered the garden as usual, accompanied by only 2 maids, to bathe, as it was hot. No one else was there except the 2 elders, who were hiding to spy on her. Susanna said to the maids, "Bring me ointment and perfumes, then shut the garden doors behind you while I bathe." As soon as the maids had left, the 2 elders came out of hiding, ran to her and said, "The garden doors are shut, no one can see us, and we are burning with passion for you. Yield to us and lie with us. Otherwise, we will testify against you, saying that a young man was with you, and that's why you sent the maids away." Susanna, weeping, cried out, "I am hemmed in on every side. If I do this, it is death for me. If I refuse, I cannot escape your hands. Yet it is better for me to fall into your hands without guilt than to sin in the sight of the Lord," Susanna cried out with a loud voice. The 2 elders also raised their voices against her, and one of them ran to the garden doors and opened them. When the household servants heard the outcry in the garden, they rushed in through the side door to see what had happened to her. When the elders told their story, the servants felt very ashamed, for never had such a thing been said about Susanna. The next day, when the people gathered at Joachim's house, her husband, the 2 elders, came also, filled with wicked intentions, to sentence Susanna to death. Addressing the people, they said, "Summon Susanna, the daughter of Hilkiah, the wife of Joachim." They sent for her, and she came with her parents, children, and all her relatives. All her relatives and friends were weeping. The 2 elders stood up among the people and laid their hands on her head. As she wept, Susanna looked up to heaven, her heart trusting in the Lord. The elders said, "While we were walking alone in the garden, this woman came in with 2 maids, shut the garden doors, and dismissed the maids. Then a young man, who was hiding, came to her and lay with her. We, who were in a corner of the garden, seeing this wickedness, ran to them. We saw them together, but we could not catch the young man because he was stronger than we, and he opened the doors and fled. We caught her and asked her who the young man was, but she would not tell us. This we testify." The multitude believed them, because they were elders and judges of the people, and condemned her to death. Then Susanna cried out with a loud voice and said, "O eternal God, who knows the secrets, who knows all things before they happen, you know that they have borne false witness against me. I am innocent of the blood they have shed unjustly." And the Lord heard her voice. As Susanna was led to execution, the Lord stirred up the Holy Spirit of a young lad named Daniel, who cried out, "I am innocent of this woman's blood." All turned to him and said, "What is this you are saying?" Then Daniel, standing in the midst of them, said, "Are you such fools, O children of Israel? Without examination or knowledge of the truth, you have condemned a daughter of Israel. Return to the tribunal, for they have testified falsely against her." The people quickly returned, and the elders said to Daniel, "Come, sit with us and instruct us, for God has given you the authority of eldership." Daniel said, "Separate these 2 far from each other, and I will judge them." When they were separated, Daniel said to the first one, "You have grown old in wickedness. Your past sins are now coming to light, when you gave unjust judgments, oppressing the innocent and acquitting the guilty, though the Lord has said, 'You shall not put to death the righteous and the innocent.' Now then, if you saw this, tell me under which tree you saw them together." He replied, "Under a mastic tree." Daniel said, "Truly, your lie recoils on your own head, for the angel of God has received the sentence from God, and will immediately split you in 2. After him, he brought the other elder and said to him, "Offspring of Canaan, and not of Judah, beauty has deceived you, and lust has perverted your heart. Thus you did with the daughters of Israel, and they, out of fear, consorted with you. But a daughter of Judah would not endure your wickedness. Now then, tell me under which tree you saw them together." he replied, "Under an evergreen oak." Daniel said to him, "Truly your lie recoils on your own head, for the angel of God is waiting with a sword to split you in two, and to destroy you." Then all the assembly shouted with a loud voice and blessed God, who saves those who hope in him. And they rose up against the two elders, to whom Daniel had made their own words, become their own mouths had borne false witness against her, and brought upon them the same penalty that they had devised against their neighbor, according to the law of Moses, and they put them to death. Thus the innocent blood was saved that day.